You're watching the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. Hey there, welcome back to another weekend video podcast by the Common Constitutionalist, me, Brent Smith. And today I'm going to be on one topic, and I desperately did not want to do a political topic post-Christmas, as in I'm still basking in the glow of Christmas. I love Christmas, weather notwithstanding, although it was almost 60 degrees on Christmas Day up here. Raining torrentially, but 60 degrees. At least it washed all the white crap away. Whatever. So anyway, today's topic, bomb explodes in Nashville, leftists are jerks. I don't know, there's, what else do you need to say? I'll be right back. By now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that there was a massive explosion that went off in Nashville. It was about 6:30 a.m. on Christmas morning, and this was a real odd deal, okay? Not just the explosion was odd, was the fact, well, I'll get into that. There's absolutely nothing funny about this, obviously. Funny ha-ha, but there are some really weird, interesting things here, oddities. And I guess one of the oddest things, you know how the media always say, you know, there's a, there can be a guy standing over a body, bleeding out with 10 gunshot holes in him, and the guy's got a smoking gun pointing it at him, and yet he's the alleged killer. Legally I get that in a courtroom, but I mean just the common sense of it. It's obviously the guy's the killer, okay? This isn't some movie setup. You know what I mean. They kept on saying that they believed this was an intentional act. It'll become obvious that it was an intentional act. You don't have to look very far. You don't have to read very far. They can drop the intent that they believe the intentional act. I just thought it very odd, okay? And the reason I think, well, it's just really stupid and really strange that there were eyewitnesses that confirmed almost immediately that this was an intentional act. There was an RV parked outside the AT&T data center. Evidently, it was parked outside there since Thursday evening, and that's where the explosion emanated from. Witnesses said they were awakened around 4:30 in the morning by rapid-fire gunshots that went off, and then the gunshots stopped, evidently. After that, a recording coming from the RV that was parked in front of this AT&T data center in Nashville, downtown Nashville. The recording said, "Evacuate now, there is a bomb. A bomb is in this vehicle and will explode." That's a pretty fair warning, okay? That ain't no joke. So right off of the bat, that's another oddity where this isn't your average terrorist, okay? There have been other terrorists that have done this kind of thing. I think the IRA, Ireland, they used to do this stuff because they were concerned, they were interested in destroying property, not people. So I guess kudos to the bomber. He didn't want to, he, she, it, or group of its didn't want to blow up people. They just wanted to destroy property. It was parked in front of an AT&T data center for whatever reason we don't know. May never know. I don't know. Whatever. But it's really odd. It's not clear at this point, at least as far as I know, how many times this warning went off. Okay, how many times it was repeated. But evidently it was a recording. All right. And doesn't say the time lapse from 4:30. The bomb went off at 6:30 a.m. sharp, virtually. The gunshots were heard. People were awoken at 4:30 in the morning. Okay. So that's a 2-hour window. So it doesn't say when the warnings, the gunshots stopped, the warnings started, and then all of a sudden the warnings stopped, and there was a 15-minute countdown, which obviously started at 6:15 a.m., and it started counting down to when the bomb went off, and it was true to form because the bomb went off at 6:30. Okay, so this is. It's really weird. There were very few people hurt by the blast. I think one cop, I guess, was blown off his feet or something like that. He wasn't wounded seriously or whatever. Evidently, later on, they did find body parts within the wreckage. So we don't know, no one knows whether that's an innocent bystander, not likely. Maybe it was somebody in the RV, who knows. But it's all fascinatingly weird, I guess, okay? And I can say that just because there was so few people hurt, and I don't think there was anyone killed except for these body parts, okay? So we assume they died in the blast, but who the crap knows? I don't know. And like I said, I'm still basking in the Christmas glow. I'm recording this on Saturday, day after Christmas, and I actually started researching this Christmas afternoon when I got a break, and it's just like, I don't want to do this. I really just don't want to do this. But then I saw this within this article. I was just reading the article about the explosion, and then I saw this within the article, and it hit me, and I guess I just need to say something because I haven't heard any of the news stuff. I've watched YouTube snippets and whatnot, and I've watched the news on this explosion, and nobody's mentioned this guy or what he said, okay? And it's why we conservatives always say what we say about leftists, and it's true 100% of the time. No matter what, this is what we say about leftists, and it is true 100% of the time. No matter what, leftists will always boil everything down to politics, and not just politics, but somehow look for an angle in anything for the purpose of gaining an advantage and advancing their agenda, either personal advantage and agenda or group, Democrat Party advantage and agenda. Always, 100% of the time, no matter what the instance is. You could say the sky was blue, and then they'll bring up climate change because they think that gives them an advantage. Whatever. And now for the past 4 years, you can add the terminal Trump derangement syndrome. And I think it is terminal. It's stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome. And these people are just shameless and despicable people. That's the only way you can describe them. From what anyone knows so far, this was not a politically motivated bombing. They don't know what the motivation is, but it doesn't appear to be politically motivated. What's the point? It didn't, it just, AT&T data center, or I don't know, you know. It may end up being that, but as I'm making this video, they don't know enough at this point what the motivation is. So, but the point is that leftists never need, as we've seen in the Russia collusion case and so many other things, even Romney, as much as I can't stand that guy, I did defend him back in 2012. The thing where Harry Reid said he didn't pay any of his taxes, he just made that up. It was just a lie, but it doesn't matter. There was no shred of proof, there was no evidence or whatnot, but they put him on the air and let him propagate that lie against Mitt Romney, and it was just a dirty freaking lie. But it doesn't matter. They never need shreds of evidence or anything, any proof at all. They just go out there and it's never going to stop a leftist from spouting off. And this time is no different. Several officials released statements from President Trump to Tennessee Governor Lee and all the way on down, okay? And they were all terrific. All were positive, uplifting statements, but one, son of a gun. If you guess that one is a Democrat, you win a prize. No, you don't. You win a hearty handshake and a Ohio silver or some damn thing. His name is Representative Democrat, Tennessee Democrat Representative, Antonio Parkinson. And here's his uplifting statement. You ready? Quote, "Please keep the city of Nashville in prayer," he said. "Prayer for our first responders and those affected by this morning's intentional act of violence." Okay, well, at least he was, intelligent enough to say it was an intentional act. That, obviously it was an intentional act. When somebody warns you, hey, there's a bomb going off, and then it goes off, it's pretty intentional. "We will not be deterred," this is Antonio Parkinson again, "we will not be deterred by the sick, repulsive, and selfish acts of terrorism, whether internal or external." He should have stopped there, but he's a leftist, so he didn't. And frankly, he couldn't, okay? He just couldn't. It's in leftist DNA. He can't stop there. Listen to this. "I pray that this administration," in other words, the Trump administration, "does something other than to encourage this violent behavior. I pray even more that the next administration strikes with force to eliminate those that would try to intimidate the American people. The American people thought the use of such actions." I don't know, bro. I had to actually correct several spelling errors on this tweet or statement so I could actually read it. Whatever, okay? Well, he started out fabulously. Keep your prayers, first responders and whatever. But hasn't it been Democrats, leftists, all along, that have always mocked conservatives and Republicans for enough with your thoughts and prayers, they don't do any good. It's just false. It's just phony, okay? It's just for the cameras or whatever it happens to be. Stop with the thoughts and prayers. I've heard many Democrats, leftists say that they don't work. It's just disingenuous, okay? Well, unless you're a leftist, and then thoughts and prayers are just fabulous, okay? Why in the hell couldn't he just end with the statement, "We will not be deterred by the sick, repulsive, and selfish acts of terrorists, whether internal or external"? Why did he have to go the extra mile? Well, he had to go the extra mile, as I said, because of what I just explained earlier, that these people are leftists and they just literally can't help themselves. They hate us. They hate us. They think that we're the devil. They think that we're all Nazis. They think Trump is Hitler. This is actually what they think. This person, and I looked up this guy, and on paper he actually looks like a pretty decent dude. He's a black guy. Who cares? He just is, just making a statement. He was a Marine. I mean, dude, you're a disgrace to the uniform, bro. Okay? Talking about our commander-in-chief like this? What did he say again? "I pray that this administration does something other than to encourage this violent behavior." Who in the hell do you think this may end up being some sort of leftist? Which a lot of them are, unfortunately. Antifa, BLM, those type of people. They all turn out to be a bunch of leftists. This is almost no time that these people are conservatives. Almost, well, never. Okay. But that's the point. Leftists that's the whole point of this podcast, is leftists just can't help themselves. It's like written in their DNA. They can't stop when they need to stop. I don't understand it. Why couldn't you just do the thoughts and prayers thing? Why did you need to go there? even after the election's over and your guy apparently won, Biden, you've got the coming administration, just let it go. But they can't. They can't let it go because they have terminal Trump derangement syndrome. I'm telling you. It's orange man bad syndrome. That's why. I didn't want to bring this up. I didn't even want to talk about this, but this stuff, it's infuriating, it's disappointing, and it's saddening all at the same time. Because we as Americans don't need to be... You guys, according to you, you won. You can't even bask in the glow of winning, okay? You had to ruin my Christmas. Thank you. Actually, you didn't. That one's on me, okay? It's my choice to talk about this. No one else is talking about it. No one else has brought up this Parkinson guy's name. I've watched video after video of the explosion of reports, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, all these places. Nobody's mentioned this dude. For whatever reason, I don't know. So, it's just, like I said, it's infuriating to me because it doesn't need to happen. This dude didn't need to say anything. He could have just done the thoughts and prayers, and then hopefully we can find the perpetrators and we'll bring them to justice and blah, 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 all the other boilerplate bullcrap. But he had to bring up the Trump administration. He just had to bring up the fact that regardless of any evidence at all, a shred of evidence, that Trump was the motivation behind this thing, that the guy, that Trump's violent words and action, they motivated this guy to be violent and blow up a building. The fact that the guys, girls, group, whatever, warned people ahead of time, I guess that's something, I don't know. You can rebuild property. You can't rebuild a human, you know, okay, to an extent. That's all I've got. I hope you guys all had a blessed Christmas. I had a wonderful Christmas, as I always do. Family, friends, going over to watch the Tampa Bay Bucks today because the Patriots are officially out of the playoff race. I'm guessing that Tampa Bay is going to win. They'll get into the playoffs, and then they'll lose the first game. That's my guess because Arians is a douche. But other than that, I got nothing to say about the Bucks. So that's all I got. My name's Brent Smith. I'm the Common Constitutionalist. Oh, jeez. Every time. At least I'm consistent. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share. Hey, you know, what the heck. Maybe it'll be better in the new year. See ya.